Everybody make sure that your phones are off. So let's go ahead and get this meeting started.
And all the potholes.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the City Council of Universal City, Texas. It is Tuesday, February 6th, 2024. My gosh. I'll call this meeting to order now at 6:31 p.m. and call for a quorum check, please.
Mayor Petition Goolsby.
Here.
Councilmember Buck.
Here.
Councilmember Bulman. Here. Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Councilmember Najarian.
Here.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Here. Barely.
Quorum is present and shall proceed. The invocation this evening will be given by Councilmember Najarian, and I'll lead us in the pledges afterwards, so please stand everyone.
Dear Lord, as your blessed servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations and our efforts here tonight. We thank you for the opportunity of attending this meeting and affecting change in our community for our citizens. May you lead our minds and hearts and guide our thoughts, actions, and our decisions for the betterment of our community. May our deeds represent who you are and guide us as a council to be trusted servants in our beautiful city, representing all members of our community and to make decisions that promote the common good. Lord, we ask that you bless us, these proceedings, and this city, keeping forever safe the phrase, "In God we trust," and that you watch over and protect all of our first responders, active military, and veterans of this community and this great nation. We ask all these things in your glorious name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
honor
And protect this flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Well, thank you all for attending this evening, our first meeting in February. It's hard to believe we're already in February. Gosh almighty, it's incredible. Okay, first item this evening is staff reports and other discussion items, and we'll start out with our city manager's report.
Thank you. I don't have anything to report. I've handed it all over to the staff this evening, so Christine is going to do the financial investment report, and then the utility deposit presentation, and then Randy will come up and talk to you about the public works, the ARPA projects, in particular the generators.
Okay. Christine?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So as of December 31st, we had completed 25% of our fiscal year. Thus far, the general fund expenditures exceed revenues by approximately $1.1 million. Now, that's just because we don't have our ad valorem taxes posted yet, because they weren't received until January. Our ad valorem to date as of December 31st was $941,488, which is 11% of the budget. The debt service fund reflects revenues exceeding expenditures of $1,036,000. That's just because our debt service interest payments don't take place until February. Capital projects reflects revenues exceeding expenditures in the amount of $6,135,435. That is because the GO bonds that were approved by council in October, we have to do a budget amendment in order to post them to the budget. Utility fund revenues exceed expenditures by about $1.1 million. Water revenues to date are 1.2, which is 28% of the budget. Sewer revenues is 1.1 million, 24% of the budget. Stormwater revenue exceeds expenditures in the amount of $99,000 approximately. The water revenue to date is $200,000, which is 24% of the budget. The golf fund revenues exceed expenditures by $368,000. The revenues include venue tax year-to-date collections of $451,000 approximately, and that's about 37% of the budget. And the investment report you already have, as well as copies of the expenditure reports. I stand for questions.
Take Well, this is just a report this evening, so it's not a,
Okay, then I'm,
unless anyone has a specific comment they would like to make based on our report there. Mr. Vaughan?
You answered one of the questions I had sent previously. I was just curious about the capital projects, which probably isn't a you question.
no,
but,
Sir Randy will address it when he speaks.
Okay.
Is that it? Okay. Then, so the next thing we had was I was tasked with determining what the utility deposits were. So,
We'll pull up that slide.
up.
Here we go.
So what I did was I ran from the beginning of the encode process to 2004. Deposit amounts range from $53 to $55. The number of customers that have that deposit amount is 1,674. From 2004 to 2010, the utility deposits range from $60 to $80, and that was 697 customers that still had that deposit amount. Between 2010 and 2017, it ranged from $85 to $95. 927 of our customers have that deposit amount on the records. Then in October of 2017, the rates changed, or the deposit information changed to $120, which still remains the same as of today. We have 2,400 approximate customers that have that. Our current breakdown for deposits is $50 deposit for water, a $50 deposit for our sewer, $20 deposit for our garbage, and a non-refundable admin fee of $15. Now, while going through the process, staff noted that our deposit amount is significantly less than a lot of the cities that surround us. The average water bill exceeds what the deposit amount is. We currently cover a portion of the garbage because the garbage is approximately $30 per person or per customer per home. And we're only collecting $20 as that deposit. And then with the non-refundable admin fee, if we used the base rate plus fringe benefits for our 2 utility employees, it ranges from $45 to $50 an hour. So for them to create an account, close an account, adjust accounts, the amount that we really should be collecting is significantly higher.
So based on that, I have a question for the council. Did you want us to bring you back something on rate adjustments for the deposits and for the admin fee, or you wanting to just eat the cost?
Do you have an opinion on that?
I want to eat the cost. I want to eat the cost. I don't want that to go any higher.
But you understand that when somebody leaves their home, their monthly bill is already over this. And that's why in October, we usually have debt write-off for the utility account. And so to close that gap, you do have the option of increasing what you're collecting for the garbage, which I would say make it 35, so your deposit would be $135. And then I don't know what you want to do with the administrative fee, the one-time fee.
We're really not in line with cities around us, and it's not something that we would be taking on a regular basis. It's just a deposit to start your services.
Do you know what other cities are charging?
Yes, ma'am. I can tell you. Give me just a second. The city of Live Oak is charging, if I had it readily available, it would be far too easy with me. Okay, so Live Oak's deposit amount is $100 deposit, $50 non-refundable fee. Cibolo is $120 with a $40 non-refundable fee. If you have all services, if you just have garbage, it's a $40 fee and a $40 non-refundable fee. Garden Ridge is $150 deposit. Non-refundable is $15 of that, but their total collection is $150. And Church is $125 with no non-refundable fee. So those are just kind of the averages around us.
Yes, ma'am.
And it sounded like you were saying that there's a number of people that are not paying their final water bill. Do you know the percentage of people that don't pay that?
I don't, I could get it for you though, and either send it to Ms. Turner, she can send it via email, or I can have it ready to present at the next council meeting.
Be interested in having that information before we make any decisions.
Okay. Yeah, this is just a report. We're not.
We're just asking for direction. What do you want us to do?
I think just a point of clarification, what we had discussed previously was Ms. Eichelhardt's suggestion about, but after a point in time, do we refund it to the account? And that was kind of something to be discussed, which I don't know if you have any information about other cities around us that may or may not do that.
I do. The city of Garden Ridge refunds the deposit after, I'm sorry, the city of Garden Ridge never refunds the deposit. They hold the deposit until the customer leaves service. The city of Cibolo holds it for 2 years, and after 2 years, if the customer has paid on time every time, they will refund it. If for any reason they become delinquent between that time and the time that they leave, then they will request the original deposit amount plus a percentage higher. I don't know what that percentage is. Like Oak will return it after 3 years with very similar parameters that Cibolo has, and Schertz has 2 years with very similar parameters. So, but the longest time that it's held, other than Garden Ridge, is 3 years.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When folks are moving to our great city, they already have a lot of expenses that they have to cover. Moving costs, you know, everything that goes along with moving into a house. I would hate to think that our city would, you know, suffer a significant financial loss when somebody ditches their last water bill. I would be in favor of leaving it at 135 and not placing an additional burden on the already expensive project of moving into a new place, especially because that's going to have the outsized impact on those people who have to move around a lot, which tend to be our lower income residents. So my input would be to leave it where it is.
Well, currently, I think they have the option of a payment plan to start up the services. They have to confirm that with Ms. Turner or with the utilities department. So, just information.
Yes, Mr. Jim.
And when I'm saying eat the cost too, I know we do get some of those bills, but to go with what Councilman Buck said, with moving expenses the way they are, as the amount of money that you said other cities put on deposit, I don't see where we're too far out, but I would be in favor of keeping what we have now with not refunding until they leave. So if they do ditch, we're still, and I do know that we do try to recoup some of those losses before we write them off. So, but yeah, I'm not in favor of upping it any at all. That's right. Thank you.
Anyone else? I think appreciate your comments, and I think it's nice to get this comparison between what some of the other cities have, even though it's kind of sometimes apples and oranges, but it's still good to look at.
Well, and as council members have mentioned, we don't want to gouge our citizens.
Absolutely.
Just, it's information that was requested, so we want to be sure we provide everything.
Right, and we also wanted to make sure that you didn't want us to be revenue neutral.
Exactly.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So the answer is no.
Okay, and then the other one is the ARPA projects, Randy?
Yes, thank you, Randy.
Mayor, Council, I'm happy to say that it's been going on 2 years now that we've been working on our generator project. So we got all the generators as of yesterday tested by HopeCat, all except for one. So all the generators are in place, running. We just have to, the last one that we got to get connected is the one at the golf course. Our electrician anticipates in about a week and a half to be able to start that. There's a lot of coordination that we have to do with the golf course being open and its events and the freezers and everything with the food and everything. So we're hoping to have that one hopefully up and tested by the end of this month is what I'm hoping. That would complete our projects, other than
the supervisory SCADA system that we would place at these new locations that we're installing. So that would be tied into our SCADA system. That way we can monitor when the generators are on and off and being tested and alert us when the generators aren't operating when they're supposed to. So we're happy to say
It is amazing.
Almost to the end.
Yeah, it is amazing that the pandemic allowed us to take advantage of the opportunity to get these generators all around the city.
Yeah, there was a
Much
total of I believe 7 generators that we had installed this last time.
Yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic. Any comment to Randy? Yes, Phil?
Just a couple questions on the generators. So what, if we lose power, what won't work in the city? Like what do we have not covered?
All our facilities between the well sites and our main lift station, everything on the water and sewer side is covered. Every plant, every water tower. These facilities, operational facilities, public works, city hall, fire, library, animal shelter, all golf course, all have generators. The only thing that we don't have that's left is probably our parks. You know, the clubhouse area, you know, stuff like that, non-essential areas that have generators. Everything that you can consider, especially with we found out in the freeze when we had the animals, that kind of is essential to have power running for the animals, the heat and everything. Our golf course, and then obviously fire, police, and public works.
Amazing, amazing. Thanks, Randy. Thank you very much. Okay, next item on the agenda is citizens to be heard. This is the opportunity for obviously citizens to address council on matters that they deem important. And we believe that everything you discuss with us is important because you wouldn't come to us if you didn't have something that you thought was important. So we have one individual that has signed up this evening, Mr. Vaughan. Sir, please come on up.
Simulation, Mayor and Council. My name is Bernie Rubel, 635 Balboa. And basically, I'm walking down the hard-packed alleyway. Dog in tow, we're going down to see free to the other dog. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh! Foot goes in a foot. Foot goes in the ground a foot. Wasn't injured. Pull my foot out. And I say, holy smokes, there's a big hole there. And I push this roller down, and it goes down into that hole 6 foot. Okay? So there's a sinkhole exactly where we were talking about telephones before council before. Also, the area of glass or break, whichever way you want to put it, essentially is only 95 feet away from it. Okay? Now, God bless Randy, he got the crew out there. They had essentially it cordoned off and safe and so forth. They did a great response. And his crews worked a week on the sinkhole. And also now they're repairing that other item that I've discussed for almost 2 years now. But that's a general lead-in to essentially where you're going tonight. That is item I. The city manager states that the city sewer collection system has several, not a lot, not many, not a specific number, but several deteriorated concrete and clay pipe sewers that were identified for replacement and so forth. And then of course, essentially, Randy's going to propose a beautiful $1 million project to replace some sewer lines in a designated area. Okay. Well, basically, what I'm saying is, what I'm asking the city to consider is if a citizen can bring you data and present data to you in email with videos of what's the problem, where it is, and the magnitude of this problem, why can't essentially our public utilities department also post how severe the problems are in all areas of the city? Okay, that would help explain why they've chosen the areas that they have with regard to the areas that they've chosen for the sewer line replacement, yep, that's all old. They need replaced, like a lot of other places. But what's the priority in the city? That's what's a little bit unclear. And the other thing about the areas that are being replaced is, goodness gracious, they follow the footprint of the aviation district. I'm asking the member of council that sit on the Economic Development Committee, essentially to go to the Economic Development Committee and ask for fair share sharing, for essentially infrastructure in that area so that the remaining monies can be addressed to other areas of concerns in the city. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Thank you, Mr. Rubel. Did anyone else want to address council that didn't sign up earlier? Okay, good. Let's go ahead and proceed then to the announcements, and we'll start out with the city manager's announcements.
Thank you, Mayor. The Friday evening at the golf course is the flashlight night. So if you would like to get out, I think you're actually even welcome to bring your pets, and for sure you can bring your children and your flashlights and walk the golf course at night. It's a very fun event. It's not completely dark. We do light the path so that we don't lose anyone. Also, happy hours have started again at the golf course on Thursday evening, so we hope you partake in those. Of course, the biggest event you have coming up is Snowfest, which is on the 17th. We hope to see you there. Will they be checking in at the front gate or the back gate, Randy? Or does it matter?
Both. It's front and back.
Depending on where you park, you can come in the front or the back. If you have children that you want to be bringing with you, let us know and we'll get them wristbands. Children would be under the age of what, Randy?
At 2.
2, just 2 children. I got it, okay. If you have 3, we'll get you another one. And then also I wanted to let you know, we put it on the utility notices, it's on Facebook, we've got it on the website, we'll be pushing it out again. Because some of you don't have kids, so we're going to give yours to somebody else, if that's what you're thinking.
It's fine.
Okay. We're transferring our financial paperwork and everything to the cloud. So for court, utility, and finance, they won't be able to do any work on those 2 days. So the staff will be here to answer phones and any questions, but we've been advising all of our court and utility patrons that they need to either pay before or after those days. That's all I have this evening.
Okay. I just have a couple of quick items. One is I mentioned that Daryl John from Guadalupe's appraisal district was picked. I forgot to mention to you that in Bear County appraisal district, Congressman Rocha Garcia, who we gave our 12 votes, she was also unanimously picked. So our 2 choices made it, not surprisingly, but so that's good. And I had a fun thing. I got to do a little shout out about the air show coming up April 6th and 7th with Joint Base San Antonio. So they're going to use those little promos. So that was fun. That was fun. Just for everybody, again, we're going to have that air show on the 6th and 7th. We aren't, JBSA Randolph is, but obviously it's a fantastic event, and everybody in the community benefits from it, especially those that want to enjoy and see what the Sound of Freedom really is all about. So I'll leave it at that. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Najarian.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have a whole lot tonight, except looking forward to a Northeast Partnership meeting this Thursday that I'm looking forward to attending to. That's always good updates every month. Also, I'm sorry I was just a little bit late. My new wife is a little bit under the weather, so I was making sure everything's okay there. As we know, we have our election coming up. I just let you know that I have filed today for hopefully being reelected to this fine city, and it's been my honor. Whether I get reelected or not, it's been my honor to serve the city this past 6 years. That's all I have.
I'll just piggyback on that real quickly. The Northeast Partnership is made up of area mayors. There's actually 13 mayors that are participating in this. And the speaker this Thursday is Representative John Lujan, who's District 118, so a lot of Universal City fits into his district. So he will be the speaker. So if I think we had already notified
Yes,
him
sir, we
who's
did.
going to attend. Okay. If there's a last minute change that somebody can come that wasn't able to before, please let Maribel know right away. But it is Thursday, and it's instead of at Olympia, our park, it's going to be at the Hilton Garden Inn in Live Oak. Okay, Christina.
I was just going to comment that I was had an opportunity to be with a business today, and the owner came up to me and just said how much they enjoyed being part of UC and how awesome the events were and how interactive the city was, and they just really loved being a part of the small community. And that's just so awesome to hear, and I appreciate the effort that everybody in our city does to really welcome businesses and host events. I think it's an awesome reputation to have. That's all.
Very good. Mr. Long.
Don't agree with that, Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Buck.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to piggyback a little bit off of what Ms. Fitzpatrick just said. I also had an experience driving around Universal City over the weekend when I saw the fruits of our labors and the fruits of the Economic Development Corporation in the form of some renovations that we had granted to these businesses, and it just kind of made it feel like, wow, we did that, and because we're doing that, we're able to take care of those businesses. And I've had the same experience as Ms. Fitzpatrick has as well, regarding comments that I've received from business owners around the community that they do appreciate the support that they've received from the city. And comments have all been at a minimum neutral, but most of them are very positive. I will not be here, unfortunately, the weekend of Snowfest. I will be out of town. I'm not going to tell you where I'm going to be, but it's the opposite of snow. And very much looking forward to the events coming up at the golf course this weekend and all the goings on around the city. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, sir. Snowfest, woo! But I'm going to not piggyback, but I'm going to take a sidestep. Universal City for years had a negative perception as far as the building department was concerned. I know that council staff, everybody has been working towards renovating and changing that. And I met with some contractors the other day who explained that Universal City is now one of their favorite places to work because the inspector knows their business, the staff seems to be extremely helpful, and that as long as you are doing it right, it's not a problem in Universal City. So I just wanted to share that little bit of information. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, I'm gonna go in another direction. So I went to Tasty Club and was amazing, but one thing that seems to ring true even at Tasty Club is pretty much anytime I do anything that has to do with the city, I get constantly asked, what are we gonna do about the deer? So I feel like after being approached for the 700th time by a different resident every time, can we put the deer on the agenda? Is there something that we can do? Can we discuss maybe possible options that we might have? I don't have an answer, but I get approached constantly, what are we gonna do about all these deer? And I honestly, I'm like, I don't know, but it probably should be addressed at some point. So is there any chance my other council members would agree to maybe put something on the agenda?
So a few years back, we had somebody from the Forest Service come, Texas Parks and Wildlife come to talk about the deer. How about we extend an invitation for them to come back and do a presentation for the city?
That would be awesome. Thank you. That would be wonderful. That's all I have. It was just, I don't know about anyone else, but I get asked constantly about the deer. And so I thought, you know what, we'll see what we can do. So that'd be great. Thanks.
Okay, good. Let's move on to our consent agenda. It's tab number A. There's actually 4 items on there. They're considered to be routine. If anybody wanted to pull one off, and we are going to pull item D off and vote on that separately. So A, B, and C. Did anybody else want to pull anything and
Mayor, on C, Councilwoman Bulman had pointed out that on the agreement with Molito, there was a blank on there, and they're paying $8,100 for their sign, and the EDC is reimbursing them $4,500. So the $4,500 is missing in that blank on their performance agreement. But before we have them sign that, we'll write that amount in.
Okay. All right.
Move to approve the correction.
Okay. Second. Motion been made and seconded. Any other discussion, anyone? All right. We're going to vote on, this is A, B, and C right now. Okay. Call for the vote then, please.
Councilmember Najarian.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby.
Aye.
Councilmember Buck.
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. We'll open up D then, which is the resolution 967-2024. It's authorizing the purchase of real property located at 110-118 East Bird by the EC Economic Development Corporation for projects to promote new or expanded business development.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion? All right, let's go for that vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby.
Aye.
Councilmember Buck.
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman.
No.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian.
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan.
No.
Okay, that motion passes 4-2. So let's move on now to our action items. Tab number B, the Interlocal Cooperative Agreement for the Tri-County Fraud Task Force. The city
I
manager.
would go into a lot of detail, but remember when you used to actually get really good stuff in your mail? That's what this pertained to. That's when we had an issue with fraud. Obviously, our big issue now is email fraud. So the members of the task force have asked to disband, and this is just authorizing mayor to sign a letter indicating that we will disband along with everybody else.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion, Councilmember Najarian, second by Councilmember Fitzpatrick. Discussion, anyone? Yes,
I just have
ma'am.
one question.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think you kind of just answered it, but I'm just gonna ask it. Are other cities leaving? Like, we're not the only city that wants, like, everybody wants to disband.
Pretty much.
Awesome.
Anyone else? All right, call for that vote, please. Maribel?
Councilmember Najarian.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby.
Aye.
Councilmember Buck.
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman.
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Moving on to tab number C, KB Home Loan Star Inc. Developer petition for final acceptance of public improvements of the KB Kitty Hawk Phase 6 subdivision to include the water system, sanitary sewer system, and drainage and street systems.
Yes, sir. So these are two perfunctory items. As if you will remember that you preliminarily accepted the public improvements. At least 1 year has to go by before we will accept them. So before we do the final acceptance, their engineer and our city staff go out and inspect the entire subdivision in these areas to make sure that everybody is operating as it should be. We have done that. So for tab C and tab D, staff is recommending approval.
But we're gonna address each
You're
one
going to address
separately.
them separately, but I won't talk on the
Okay.
next one.
I'll be glad to entertain a motion on tab C.
Move to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Bowman, second by Councilmember Najarian. Discussion further? Call for the vote then, please, Mayor.
Oh, I'm
Bear, I'm sorry.
Was there any third-party testing that's done again, or is that only at a year ago?
Not at the end, not unless it's called. If we identify something that needs to have more testing, then the third party can be brought back. But we've had all of the soil sampling and everything done almost at this point 2 years ago.
Okay, good. Right. Anyone else? All right, Maribel, please.
Councilmember Bulman.
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby.
Aye.
Councilmember Buck.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes. We'll move on to tab number D, which is basically the same, except this is Phase 7 subdivision.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem, second by Councilmember Bowman. Any discussion? All right, call for that vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby.
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman.
Aye.
Councilmember Buck.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian.
Want the fans on?
Aye.
Aye, it's cold in here.
I'm sorry.
No, I agree, I already turned them on.
She froze up.
Show the summer.
Do it.
Okay, all right, let's move on. Next two
One second,
items are related to our purchase.
1 second.
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't get Councilmember Vaughan's vote.
Aye.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
there you go. Okay, thank you. Okay, next two items are a purchase policy, tabs E, actually three of them, tabs E through G. Tab E is a resolution 895-D2024 to repeal resolution 895-D2021, employee purchase card policy for the city of Universal City, establishing legislative findings and setting an effective date.
So I stated in the cover sheet, we're not doing away with these, we're just moving them all into one document. So in order to get them within the purchase policy ordinance, I need to have you get rid of the resolutions.
Okay, but we have to run separately, so. Okay.
Move to approve the resolutions, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
And we have to vote on them all individually, correct?
Correct. This is on tab E.
Okay, so
Motion made by
move to approve
Councilmember
resolution 895-E-24.
Okay, and second by Councilmember Najarian. Discussion on this item? Further? All right, Mary Beth?
Councilmember Buck,
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby,
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Aye.
Very good. Okay, that moves us on then to tab F, which is resolution 895E 2024, same activity.
Move to approve.
Second. Fitzpatrick, second by Mayor Pro Tem. Any discussion?
That was F, correct?
F.
F.
Yes.
Aye.
Okay, all in favor? Call for the vote, please.
Councilmember
And when we serve on different boards sometimes, the chairman has to call for all in favor. Say aye. No, this is a different vote. Go ahead, Mayor Beth.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby,
Aye.
Councilmember Buck,
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman,
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian,
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Little levity there, that's good, that's good. Okay, and the next one is tab G, which is 544-B 2024. Again, renewing the purchase policy of the city of Nervous System.
So this is taking a lot of documents that were scattered all over the place and procedures that were followed, putting them in one document and then getting it into the code of ordinances so that it's available for all staff and all vendors to look at. So I apologize, I realize it's a really long document and it's not necessarily what you would call fancy reading. But unless Christine has anything in particular she'd like to talk about, we're here to answer any questions you might have.
Anybody have specific questions about the purchase policy? Mr.
I
Buck?
just had one very easy question. We repealed the fuel card and the purchase card per policies and put them verbatim into this new one?
Yes, sir, verbatim.
Because that's what it looked like as I was going through and kind of, it was hard to scroll back up and down and back and
Yes.
forth, so, good. That was awesome, thank you.
Okay, I'll need a motion on this.
Move to approve.
Councilman Najarian.
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem. Any other discussion, Mr. Long?
I like that I don't have a problem with the policy in general, and I like the fact that it has now a defined number of what comes to council, the 100,000, because before it was not clear to me like when it comes to us or when it doesn't come to us. The only thing that I would like to maybe consider changing on it, and that's has been brought up to me, is about the garbage contract. So I know it's a dirty word, but there technically in state law you don't have to competitively procure it, and so there's some residents that would like us to at least make sure that we consider whether we procure that or not, that it comes to us. And I know staff would probably bring it to us, but I'm wondering if it makes more sense to put it in writing. And so I would recommend that this is a mouthful, but I'm going to do it anyway. I recommend that we amend the motion to add a section that the city manager will come to council for direction 9 months prior to any solid waste contract origination, renewal, or extension.
I would second that motion to amend.
We do have a motion and second, and now there's a motion to amend. Let's keep the discussion going. We're not voting yet. Mr. Buck first, then I'll get you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Turner, could you explain the existing policies and just what, coming up on 2.5 years ago is when we did the last negotiation for the renewal of the garbage contract.
Right.
Can you explain for those of us who were not here at the time, what is that procedure for doing that? Because if we're doing those procedures already, you know, on several other measures, I've said that I'm not a fan of over-regulation, of putting rules in place where we don't need them because it's already being done. Could you explain that process,
yes,
how it went last time?
And so he is correct. State law does allow you for health and safety purposes, sanitation being one of those, where you can forego having to do an RFP. You can forego or you may forego, you don't have to. So the last 2 times that the garbage was done, one time we did go out for bids, waste management was a low bidder. The last time when we had mentioned to council that the garbage contract was up, they gave us no indication they wanted us to go to bid, and we did not. So it's really at the discretion of the council. It doesn't need to be regulated, further regulated.
So if we put the language in there,
Then you have to.
our hands are tied that we have to. So perhaps would you explain your idea that the city would, excuse me, that the city manager would have to bring it to council for guidance? Because I think that's what's already happened.
We would anyway, yes, sir.
Okay, good, thank you.
And then as an added thing, so you understand, any contract that the city signs, whether it's for garbage service or anything else, the maximum term is 5 years. So if it came back to the city council and they didn't want to even do a contract for 5 years, you could say, oh, we only want one for 3 years, and then we can renegotiate at that point. But the last one was chosen for 5 years. And partly it's because Waste Management agreed to lock in a price for a while.
Very well, thank you.
Okay, so we did have a motion and a second, correct? Now we have a proposed amendment to the motion, correct? Okay, so that would be up to the person that made the motion and the second to comment. Do you agree with that, or do you want to stick with your current, your regular motion?
Well, his question just basically was what I was putting up to you. I wanted to clear a little bit about people were talking about sole sourcing. We should have gone out and got bids from other places, but that particular decision when brought to council, and it wasn't like we just saw Waste Management out there and said, yeah, they've been good, we'll stick with them. We had all knew through talking with the city that there were the other companies that would be bidding did not want to service 2 days. They wanted a single day, which we knew that was not what we wanted at all. So only talking for me, that was one of the big reasons why I didn't feel we needed to go anywhere else, especially with what they were presenting. But I never want to, put it to a point where we don't ask, put it out there to not ask other people to participate in putting up bids. So that was something in particular. I don't know. That should be opened up for everything. I mean, if there's other places out there that want to put out bids, then they should be able to put out bids. So if that's what he's writing in there, I don't know if I guess I'm talking about it being exclusively for the waste
But it's
contract.
the council's decision whether you want to go out for an RFP for services or not.
That's a decision that can be made when it's presented, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So we already have that option. You guys are already going to have that option.
That's my point. We have that option. We have that option. It's not like
Right, there are
we have to
other,
write something in.
there
in
are other
there to do that.
exclusions in the code as well on things that you don't have to go out for bid. For instance, we have a comprehensive plan coming up. We've got an RFP we're going to be presenting to you. We don't have to do an RFP. We can just go out and choose somebody and say, do it. But we're preparing an RFP in case council says, yeah, we want you to talk to multiple firms. But we don't have to do an RFP, but you'll have to give us the guidance on that when we present it to you.
Yes, Ms. Bowman.
Can I try to make it just a tad bit clear? So it's just, what he amended it to was just that staff would come to council, not that like we for sure have to do an RFP, but it would just give them a 9 months heads up. He set it at 9 months. If that time frame doesn't work, I'm sure we could amend it. But I think it's just to give council in writing that there's going to be a prior, like we're going to come to you for sure for renewal, extension, origination, whatever, just for waste contracts. So I think it's just giving everyone in writing a heads up that staff's coming in 9 months. Then that's what I said. It's not saying it's not in there. It's just putting it in writing so that just in case maybe you don't have a city manager like him and they decide not to come. I don't know. It's just a little bit of protection as well.
We have a document that we use. It's called the expiring contract document. And it has all of the contracts that we have in the city and it tells us the ordinance, when it was adopted, when it was expired, and which person or department is in charge of that. We review that at all of our staff meetings, so we know that some, like a waste management contract, will take longer, and so we will come back to you and say, hey, this is expiring in blank number of months, what do you want us to do? That happens with all of our contracts, happens with our attorneys, it happens with a whole bunch of things, which is how all these things end up on the agenda anyway. So it's happening. I don't think that, well, in my opinion, no professional city manager is just going to go out and negotiate a contract on behalf of the city without the council knowing about it, because council's the one that has to approve it. So you have to have your input.
I agree.
Like, and he's right, he brought it up. One of the bigger issues we always look at when we're dealing with garbage contracts, waste, solid waste is what it's really called, is how much service do we want and what are we willing to pay? So that's really, I mean, that's what Mr. Najarian said. That's what it always comes down to, and that's a decision that only the council's going to make.
Okay, before us, we have this motion with a potential amendment to the motion, so it's up to the person that made that initial motion, Mr. Najarian. Do you want to change it? Do you want to leave your motion the way it is right now?
I would like to leave my motion as it is.
And Mr. Who's second? Okay.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I have one more item. So Mr. Vaughan had asked about co-ops. And so I asked the question at the staff meeting today for the department, how many of you know that you can go out and just use a co-op and not have to use your bidding process? And they all knew it. They all knew that that was part of it. We belong, I think, to 4 or 5 purchasing co-ops, and we use them quite often. Randy used them for the generators, the library used it for their software. So that is in there as well. I think you had asked for it to be maybe repeated in another section. I don't know if you still.
There was just one section that mentioned the co-ops, but then the other section where it talked about the competitive procurements didn't say it was an option. So it just wasn't super clear that you could use it, which
Right,
I want you to be able to have that.
Yeah, I think the reason we separated it the way that we did is in the first section, is where it talked about competitive bidding. There are some things that we are absolutely required to do competitive bidding on. And in the other one, it was more of the, I'll call it soft bid, which included the co-ops or the 3 written bids under the other amount. So we were just trying to separate the hard RFP from the soft good RFP.
Okay. Mr. Fitzpatrick, you're the only one that's not voiced anything. Do you want to say something before I call for the vote?
No, I feel like the language is, I'm very loaded.
All right, so we have a motion and a second, and there's no other discussion at this moment. I will call for the vote, please.
Councilmember Najarian.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby.
Aye.
Councilmember Buck.
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Let's move on to tab number H, Resolution 961A 2024, amending the fiscal year 23-24 budget of the city of Universal City, Texas. I guess it's you, Christine.
I guess it's me, it's my night. So in October, as I mentioned earlier, the council did approve for the $6 million street for 2023. We need to now recognize that in our budget as an expense and revenue. As well as this, there was a storm drainage project for Persia Drive that didn't take place last fiscal year. So now we need to budget for it in this fiscal year. And those are just the 2 budget amendments before you.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Motion by Councilmember Vaughan,
Second.
second by Councilmember Bulman. Discussion further, anybody? All right, roll call, roll please.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby.
Aye.
Councilmember Buck.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian.
Aye.
Motion passes. Very good. We'll move on now to tab number I, bid acceptance of the UC ARPA sewer pipe bursting projects.
Thank you. It's the Randy Lewinsky show. When we originally went through and did our ARPA budget, remember we got the money in 2 separate tranches, and we did tranche 1 projects, tranche 2 projects, and then we had a line where if we had available monies
we would do some of the other additional projects. Those were all sewer projects. So now that Randy has gone through and done his engineering and design for all of the sewer projects that were in the ARPA plan, he has went out to bid and got the pricing on them. So the cost for the sewer line is more than the funding that he has available in the ARPA. So he has 1.1, and I think your sewer projects were 1.4. And so he is determining which sewer projects he's actually going to do with the remaining ARPA funds. So you want to cover your process?
Yes, Mayor, Council, we went out for bid on the ARPA. We received 6 responsive bids, and this would be the map that you will have in your packet that shows the locations that we are proposed to do. It was let me find everything. King Solution was our low bidder. They have worked in the city probably, I think they did our last project with us when we had the last pipe bursting project. The project, knowing that we did this many projects, we anticipated the amount to come in over bid. But typically what I do is I do additive alternates, knowing that way in the future, whatever projects that we can't do in this particular phase, we can always budget them in future phases of our capital improvement projects. So with that said, we're recommending an award for this year improvements in the amount of $1,122,000 for the ARPA sewer pipe bursting project. Once the bid has been awarded in the amount, what we want to do is award it in $1,393,620. Do a deduct change order in the amount of $379,460,000. That would allow us to have our bid in the budgeted amount that we could service this project for $1.1 million for this to carry out this project. And the remaining ones that I'm eliminating is lines A and H that I will move forward to a future capital CIP project. And the area that we targeted is the areas of is our oldest section of the pipes in our system. So a lot of these areas we have clay and we have asbestos cement. The asbestos cement pipes is what a lot of these are targeting in the older section of town. They're the worst. We can get by with our clay, which are in bad shape as well. But the asbestos pipe, the gases for the thick wall of that pipe becomes paper thin. And that's what we're seeing issues with in the older section of town. And those are the reasons why we have targeted these, because we need to prioritize those particular lines first, because those are the ones that we're seeing failing a little bit here and there. And in some sections where we see that the pipe is deteriorated to the point that we've already replaced several lines. This is not our first ARPA, it is our first ARPA project for sewer, but it's not our first pipe bursting project. We've been doing it for years. This is part of our capital replacement program on the sewer side of the utility department. And so this is probably the biggest one that we're doing at one time. So typically I bring you maybe projects that are $300,000 to $400,000 a year, every year. But this one is being that we have the ARPA funds to do this project, is why we have so many to do this year.
Okay, any specific questions or comments before I go for a motion? Yes, Mr. Vaughan.
I guess we have a sewer televising project going on too that's going to give us a big list. Is that accurate?
For the Sarah side of our system, yes.
For the Sarah side, remind me which side that is. Remind me which side that is.
Sarah's kind of like your, look at the easiest way to say it, Pavica Road. That side is our Sarah side. So we've done everything pretty much that direction, which the report is not complete. They're finalizing the report for that. And that will give me a CIP to work from in the future. So once I see that report, we'll come up with a plan, which is a multi-year. I mean, it's going to be probably 10 to 15 years worth of CIP projects once I get that report on how I want to see about prioritizing which sewer lines need to go in replacement first. Now, this project that we're doing now is we're doing the other side of the system, which is the CCMA side of our line. That's a 5-year televising project. So we're in our first year of that project. So we're doing the other side of our system now that hasn't been televised. So
And do you have an approximate date on when we'll have the televising for the Sarah side?
Sarah's side, I went through a review with her just last week, so he's finalizing the report, so I should have it by the end of this month.
Okay. This bid does look good compared to the engineer's estimate.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, we had a good year in the water fund. Is there an option to fund the whole thing and take the rest out of the utility fund? So I would be in favor of that if we can find money in the utility fund.
What I'd like to hold out, I'd like to hold out if possible, because we can always bring this back in the future. I have applied for a grant to do a lot of our sewer. We have this grant pending with Bear County. It hasn't been awarded yet to us. I don't know when it's going to get awarded, but we've had submitted several projects for sewer replacement with that grant. So I'm hoping if we get funded, we can still go after replacing this and use grant funds versus our utility funds.
And if the grant funds don't come in, could we still go ahead and pay for it?
I mean, I would roll it into next year's project. We're starting our budget process here in April. I would do that, but I would have to look into, I mean, it's about a close to 400,000 hit to it. So I'm hoping we can get the grants, but no guarantees yet.
And for me, I would be cautious and run it through the rate consultant that we use before you start using anything that you have in reserves, because it will actually change the CIP projects for the next 5 years if you take your reserve down too low. So I don't know what month you're going to start working with him on your.
We start that process in April.
In April, yeah. So we'll have a pretty good idea mid-year then.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else, Mr. Buck?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It looks like the difference between the bid cost or the bid price and the amount that we still have remaining in our ARPA is $271,620. And lines A and H are really long.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to also ask, is there nothing we can find in our city's budget, whether it's sewer, water, general fund, wherever we can take it? These guys are going to be out there. They're going to have all their equipment set up. They're going to drive out here, set up. They're going to be doing it. How easy would it, or would it not be super easy for them to just continue on with lines A and H? We find that $261,600 somewhere in our budget. Take care of that. We still have plenty of sewer. We still have plenty of sewer in the city that needs repair, don't we? Don't we? Don't we? So we can reserve some of those grant applications for the other projects. I would just hate to not get the grant. We had the opportunity, the contractor was there, he was able to do it, and we passed it up because of $271,600.
That was the question Mr. Vaughan just asked.
It is.
Yeah.
So I would like to throw my support behind the idea of finding $271,600 out of our budget somewhere, whether it's in the water fund, whether it's the sewer, sorry, not the water fund, the sewer fund or general fund? Has to be the sewer fund.
It has to be self-supporting.
What we'd have to do, even if we were to find it, we'll have to bring another budget amendment to you to add that into our CIP.
But we're going to look for it, obviously.
So the discussion then, to make sure that I understood what you guys just talked about, was if we were to take money from our sewer fund, that would reduce our reserve to a point where could it potentially impact our credit worthiness score? Is that one of the concerns?
It wouldn't go that far because we got to make sure we have the reserves. But we have other CIP projects, bigger projects that are coming up, especially with the reunion project that we're working with. That a lot of this infrastructure is going to be on us to put in. So that's one reason why I'm a little leery. I'm hoping we can get the grant funding. But again, I can always do these projects annually. So even if we have the money, I can still do this next year if we have the funds. Still there.
How long is it going to take for them to fix all these sewer lines?
I think it was a 3 to 4 month project in the contract. And even at that, even what balance I have left, I can always do a change order to extend. We can go further with that money that's left over. So we can get a couple from manhole to manhole down and maximize that dollar if we don't run across. There's a lot of unknowns when they do the pipe bursting. We've captured some of these lines, the one that worries me the most is the one that's under Papago Road, right here at Kitty Hawk. Because we can't, we got two of these projects are our main arteries. One goes to the Santo River Authority, and one is getting the water, sewage water from this side of Papago Road onto the other side of Papago Road, right there by the new H2OT. So that one right there is unknown, that goes underneath there, so that worries me. If I have a change order, it would come from that project right there.
Very well, sir. I am not a sewer expert. I don't live on television, et cetera, so I defer to your best judgment, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
What we can do is, we're in February, we'll come back in May, let you know where we are on the projects and let us know at that time after talking with the rate consultant, if in fact we can pull some additional money out to finish this out.
Right.
We'll make that.
Before us tonight is this bid acceptance. That's what we'll go with.
Tonight is the bid acceptance.
I will be glad to entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem, second by Councilmember Najarian. Further discussion? Good discussion. All right, very good. Thank you. Call for the vote, please, Mayor Bell.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby,
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian,
Aye.
Councilmember Buck,
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman,
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes as well. We'll move on now to
Thank you, Red.
J, which is the bid acceptance of the Red Horse Parking Lot 1 improvements.
All right, Mayor and Council, this one was budgeted this year for our parking lot improvements for Red Horse Park. This would be the large parking lot next to the futsal court. This is our next phase of the project. We did have surprisingly 13 bidders on this project, with industrial construction as our low bidder. So we are recommending the low bid in the amount of $130,471.65 to them, which is covered in our general fund CIP project.
So your Red Horse Park is in 4 phases. Explain to them what phase 1 and 2 were and what phase 4 is.
So phase 1 was was the one that we did next to for the disc golf in that little area. The next one was the one that ran the alleyway that had the other parking lot that runs next to our large pavilion there. That was our next phase. So this one is our third phase, which is the large parking lot. Next year in April, we'll come to you for the final phase of that, which is going to be across the ditch on the other side of the other alley, where we'll pave that, add the parking near all those new playgrounds that we added there. Currently, I got cars that are parking next to restrooms, are parking all over the place back there. We are adding improvements over there with the new basketball court, so that's going to draw people to that side of the park. So that's our next phase. When we come to you for the budget, that would be my next year's budget for the last phase of that project.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Vaughan, second by Councilmember Bulman. Any discussion? Anyone? Ms. Fitzpatrick?
Just wanted to ask Randy, do you have any experience with industrial construction, or did you?
Many years ago, I worked with him when he did our trail project. So the walking trail that you see at Northview Park, he's the one that put that in, but that was many years ago when he did that project. So, that's the only experience I have working.
Okay. I just always feel like, yeah.
You're confident in the bid?
Do what?
You feel confident with the bid?
Yes, we had our engineer do the background again. I'm hoping everything goes well.
Okay.
There's nothing that can flag us otherwise, so.
Okay, very good. All right. Call for the vote then, please, Mayor Bell.
Councilmember Vaughan,
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby,
Aye.
Councilmember Buck,
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian.
Aye.
Very good. That motion passes as well. Let's move on to tab K, which is the bid acceptance from Hydro Resources Mid-Continent, Inc. for the water well drilling of the UC Edwards Aquifer Water Well number 12.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this one has been a pain for us. Brandon Peterson, my assistant director, is here with me tonight. This is something both of us have been working on since our well 5 went down. So well 5 went down with the casing failing on that particular well, one of our original wells in the city. So that one there we had to end up plugging. We went out for bid, got a lot of bids that came, well, we only got one bid. It was one bidder. Extremely high due to the fact that well site 5, when it was built back in the day, was open range. They drilled it, had plenty of room to work and drill that well. Now that development has come in, surrounded that well site, these drillers that came in there, basically, they don't want nothing to do with that particular well. So that's why we got that one high bid, due to the fact that there's no room to set up. A lot of negotiations I had with the apartment complex and the building and the commercial building next door. And so they said that's caused the business because of the site. So we went ahead and scrapped that particular site after not getting any of the bidders to consider building on that site for us. So we then moved the location to our well site 8 where we already had the tank, because well site 5 actually pumped out of that location on Kitty Hawk, down Kitty Hawk and into the tank that we have at well site 8, which is right behind the funeral home. So it made sense for us to put the well right behind the funeral home. Again, we had several issues with different drillers, and this is a reverse drilling technique to where when they drill down, they're actually bringing the cuttings back up and not forcing the cuttings into the aquifer itself and plugging it. Because when you do that, then you have to acidize to clean out the holes. So that was a technique that our engineer strongly urged us to do, and so that there's limited drillers that do that. We were able to find a driller that's willing to do it, which was Hydro Resource. Again, drilling equipment is huge. They have big equipment. A lot of them like doing the wells out in the oil fields and stuff like that. But it's a certain size, and this hydro has one unit that can fit within our site over there, even though it's another tight site, but it's a whole lot bigger than what we had at 5. And they basically gave us a bid of $1,363,762 to drill that well. This will be over a course of probably 2 months of work that they'll be drilling this.
And when he says 2 months, he means 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
It will be loud, it will be messy, unfortunate for the people who live in that area, because once they start, they cannot stop. And so we'll be doing a lot of notification to the residents that live there and to the businesses and the businesses across the street. Yeah, expect some emails and phone calls about the noise.
But it's critical, we have to have it.
It's essential.
This is where they get their water, so yes, it's critical for them.
Yes,
That's a good way to answer the questions and comments.
And they're willing to start in March for this project, and that's critical because we're trying to get this well in before the heat of the summer. And so that's why we're bringing this before you here tonight, which would be funded through our CIP of utilities.
And so back to a conversation we had earlier regarding the trash. So Randy did not have to send this project out to bid because it falls within the Chapter 252 exclusions. However, we always want to get the best price, so he went out for bid several times and couldn't get it. So now we're going to claim the 252 exclusion so that we can move on with the project with the one bidder that we have.
Okay. Any specific comments from Randy before we call for a motion? All right, I'm glad to entertain a motion then.
Move to approve.
Second, Councilmember Bulman, second. Fine. We'll give it to Councilmember Bud.
What part of don't you understand?
There being no further discussion, yes.
I got one thing to discuss. So this particular, what you're awarding tonight, is to drill the hole. And then in our October budget will be to develop the well. That's putting the casings, setting the motor.
This gets it started.
So this, I just want everybody, when y'all see it come in the next year, in our budget coming out, that will be to put the motors and everything piping in. So,
okay. Good. All right, Paul.
Just out of curiosity, because I know nothing about drilling, but it seems pretty cool. The actual process of bringing that drill, the substance back up and to discard it instead of pushing it down, I guess that's one of the reasons we're talking about having to go 24/7 because you're drilling and pulling it up basically at the same time. Well, what size is the circumference?
It's going to be a 24-inch hole.
24 inch?
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. How far does it go down?
I think, well, they have to gauge it when they're drilling, but I think it's 380 is what they're looking at. Am I correct, Brandon?
That sounds like a lot of.
You'll
fit. I'll fit.
Okay, all right. Brandon's going to correct me. What is it,
750 feet.
But 400 of it's the casing.
Okay, thank you. Very good, thank you very much. I think it's time for call for the vote then. Please, Maribel.
Thank you, Randy.
Councilmember Bulman,
Aye.
Councilmember Buck,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby,
All right.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian,
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes as well. Move on to our final action item, tab L. It's Resolution 968, 2024. It's a resolution calling a general election to be held on May 4th, 2024, to elect city officers and approving and authorizing contract documents and procedures related thereto.
Two pieces of information that would be helpful to you is that Guadalupe County now is doing vote centers. So thankfully for the folks that live over in Orchard Park, they will be voting in the Guadalupe County area and not have to worry about coming over to the Bear County side at our library to vote. So we're very appreciative of them for doing that. The other thing is that in the canvassing of the vote, even though we all see it online and on the websites, you have to formally canvass the votes. Well, the meeting after that election is the 7th. The votes will not be tallied completely at the election offices. So we'll be having a special meeting on May 14th, and that is the date at which the current sitting council will canvass the votes, and any new elected officials at that time will be sworn in. So that will be a special meeting on May 14th. That will be the only item on that agenda.
Everybody clear on that? Okay.
But we'll give you plenty of heads up about the special meeting.
All right,
That's
so
all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
we do need a motion to.
Yes, sir.
Move to approve.
Second.
Councilman Najarian, second by Councilman Fitzpatrick. Discussion, anyone? All right, call for the roll, please, Mayor Bell.
Councilmember Najarian,
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby,
All right.
Councilmember Buck,
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman,
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Aye.
Motion passes. That is our action items for this evening. So it is now 7:45 p.m. and there's another special comment you need to make. This meeting is adjourned.
Did it!